You know today's show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. They are the top-rated sportsbook and app in all of North of America, or North America, not North of America, even though we are in America. But the beauty is they are safe, they are secure, and more importantly, they are reliable, man. And on top of that, man, they come with gifts. And that gift is this, man. When you download the app, for the new customers out there, you bet that first $5, you'll get $150 in bonus bets instantly by just simply using the promo code MOATS. All right, simple concept, man. Give you a chance to give yourself an opportunity to, liven up the watching experience, especially with some of these big time holiday games coming up. Heard it's a big showdown on Christmas. But I also know that for some people, you can get lost in that sauce, man. Might develop a gambling problem. For those that live in New York, you see the number to text. For everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tons of fun. We invested in O-line, but we don't know if we want Dan Moore. Broderick was supposed to be our left tackle, but ain't. And we got to pray Troy can stay healthy.
I mean, that's fair. If it's me, I want Dan Moore back. I do. I think obviously we'll see what the team has in their plans. With Broderick, I'm always so back and forth because every time I feel like the team is gonna make a decision or they're gonna start talking like they really love him or they're enjoying him at right, I will listen to how Coach Tomlin answers questions surrounding Broderick, and it never comes off as he's super excited about what he's doing or what he's seeing. It kind of gives me the Kevin Dotson vibes, bro. And I don't think he's in the doghouse, but when he talks on him, he never is complimentary of his work. He's he's getting better. He's working. It's just real short. I'm just I don't to me, I'm looking at the dude yo, from what you was doing early on to what you've been giving us, even though you gave up a sack yesterday, it's as a whole, we feel like you've been more consistent, less penalized, and just playing better. But I don't know. It just, yeah. So I don't know how they all the way feel about him. And I think that's what's kind of messing me up with the Dan Moore situation. I think if they were more concrete on that, I think it's a lot easier to figure out the Dan Moore part. They've already kind of tipped their hand with Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like, in a way, the decision's already made, probably behind the scenes, on what we're doing.
Right.
Unless Dan Moore plays like an all-pro last 3 games, and in the playoffs we win a Super Bowl. And even then, though, the decision might be made up. Whether we're keeping Dan Moore or we're just going to move off him and flip Broderick over.
Based off of everything you've seen updated with Broderick, how do you feel, though?
My guess is we are going to move Broderick over to left tackle. We drafted him first round. We drafted Five-Town in first round. It's we want to see them at their respective positions that we drafted them for sooner rather than later.
Though, versus what's actually happening when guys are in the game, though. Does that have any impact on it? Because even though we haven't been seeing Broderick at left tackle, we still have been seeing him playing multiple games at right.
He's been fine.
Yeah. Because I'm just
I don't know if it's the right decision.
Both of them
are
kind of what?
If you're keeping Dan Moore, trade Broderick then.
Ooh. I mean, I see why you would, but I could also be why do we want to do that? Because we see how quickly an injury can happen.
I know, but.
And they're all rookie deals except for Dan, whenever or whatever you would decide to pay him with.
I guess we could franchise more, huh?
Transition tag, maybe.
Something like that. I don't think
you got to franchise him. I think
at least keep his rights,
yeah.
And then maybe you could trade him for something.
Because with the transition, that would at least allow you to give him a bump in pay where it's not you're breaking the bank, but a team still would have to give up a draft pick, and you would still get the opportunity for first refusal or to match the offer before you can sign. So you still got some options with that. And we've seen that multiple times, man, and teams have kind of stayed off of dudes. So
yeah, you could keep Moore. You could keep Jones still. It's just I don't know. You drafted him in the first round a couple years ago.
But
Yeah,
you
he hasn't been
Dan Moore too, though.
and he hasn't been playing bad for you.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those things where he's a complete turnstile.
Mm.
I don't know if that's the most
That
positive
wasn't very
reinforcement there.
endorsing. It wasn't. It was like he's not.
He's been playing good
god-awful.
recently. He's been playing better recently, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you take that chance. Dan Moore's been solid, but he hasn't been perfect either.
I feel like both are kind of like in that same vein.
Yeah, so if they are in the same, just I guess you go with the guy that you're not paying as much. The one that has more upside too, the guy that you drafted in the first round. That's why I would think they're gonna move Broderick Jones over. That would be my guess.
Respect.
Unless Dan Moore plays lights out and like he's our catalyst for a Super Bowl run here. We're running a ton of plays over to the left side. He's mauling dudes over. He's locking down the edge rusher over there. Russ has a ton of time. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that jumps off the screen for us where, wow, we really got to highlight this left tackle.
But he has had to go against some killers, though.
I know.
And he's held his own for the majority of the time versus these killers as well.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird dynamic that we got with that situation with the tackles right now, man.